Thanks to longshore current, sand is constantly moving down beaches. This can cause a lot of problems if you're in an area that you want sand and it's going away, or if you're in an area that you don't want sand and like the mouth of your bay is being closed up. There are a number of methods that are used to control where sand moves. In particular, changes to rivers that supply beach sediment, such as installation of a dam, or storms can cause erosion or beach loss. A groin is a concrete or stone wall protruding perpendicular to the shore to prevent beach drift from removing sand. And in this picture, the groins are these long chunks right here. And sometimes they're even made out of like really big boulders. I know along the Texas coast they're made out of big boulders of granite. So you can tell here that longshore current is actually moving north, because as it moves north, it piles up the sand on the north side of the groin. This can cause problems though. Partly you can see here where the groins stop, there appears to be a whole lot of erosion happening, because water is going to pick up as much sediment as it can. So if it has to deposit a bunch because of the longshore current slowing down, it wants to pick up a whole lot more as it moves past it. So it can create some pretty significant erosion, but it does create nice beaches, or it can protect the beaches that are already in place. Jetties is a pair of walls erected at the mouth of a river channel or the entrance to a harbor to keep the river or harbor open for sea traffic. And so you can see here, in this case, there is a river that we want to be able to get boats up. That's pretty common. Something like the Mississippi River, where you have boat traffic that actually travels pretty far upriver, wants to be able to be going ocean faring. And so the jetties, they act a lot like the groins, where you end up getting deposition on one side, but you do get a lot of erosion on the other. This picture is a set of jetties somewhere in Florida to help keep this bay and this waterway open. Breakwaters are built parallel to the shore and protects the shore from storms and waves. One of the problems is that the sand is deposited behind the structure on the beach side, and this may prevent transit or travel behind it that could be important. If we're talking breakwaters, here's an interesting one. This is a satellite view of Hilo Bay. Hilo is one of the largest cities on the Big Island of Hawaii. And in 1946 and 1960, Hilo was hit by two tsunamis that devastated the downtown region, and they ended up building this wall that across the mouth of the bay as a way to try to protect the city from tsunamis. The good news is it's done a pretty good job of protecting it, and the really good news is they haven't had another really big tsunami since then to test it out very much. But the inside picture there is showing you a close-up of what that barrier actually looks like. So it really is just a pile of a bunch of big rocks. You can also build a seawall. These are often built of riprap, which is just big pieces of rocks, or reinforced concrete on the landward side of a beach that protects shore-side construction. This is a shot of Galveston Island. Galveston Island is a barrier island along the coast of Texas. It's a really interesting location. It's about 9 miles long and about 1 mile wide, and it is completely made of sand. Now, it's really vulnerable where it is. In 1900, Galveston Island was hit by a massive hurricane. It actually was, when I say massive, it probably made landfall as about a Category 4 storm. But what that did is it completely covered the entire island. There was no part of the island that was out of water, and very, very little of the island actually survived it. And so the island embarked on a couple of projects. One thing they did was raise the entire island in elevation. The other thing they did is build a seawall, and this is the seawall that you can see here, right along Seawall Boulevard. There are places where this thing is 15 feet high, and it acts as a barrier for any storm waves coming in. Now, in 2008, this area was hit by another hurricane called Hurricane Ike. And you can see down here, this is what was left after Hurricane Ike. It actually overtopped the seawall, but it probably did reduce the effects of Ike quite a bit. This picture here was actually pre-Ike, you can tell, because this really big flagship hotel out here was severely damaged during Hurricane Ike. They actually dismantled the hotel itself, and now there's a big like carnival out on the pier. There's like rides and a Ferris wheel that you can ride on there too. Now, all of this efforts to protect beaches are important for a number of reasons. The biggest one is when you have structures along a beach, you don't want them to be eroded away. The other thing is, if you have structures, sometimes you rely on tourists coming to that beach. And if there's no sandy beach there, your tourists really aren't enjoying themselves very much. And so keeping big, healthy beaches is actually really important for the economics of coastal areas. Except the beaches all wash away very quickly. You can see even with the measures that are put in, there's quite a bit of net loss. Interestingly enough, this is added to a worldwide shortage of sand, because if all your beaches are washing away, where else are you going to get sand? So there's only a few places in the world where they can mine sand to replenish the beaches. So there's a good chance, if you've gone to the beach recently, that beach sand isn't completely natural. That's probably being pulled in from somewhere else.